In the summer months, one of my favorite fish to go after is the largemouth bass. I love the fact that you can get them all day long, it's nice and bright, and literally you can find them anywhere along the shoreline or anywhere where there's weeds because they love to associate around cover. Now, while most of the time fishermen will target largemouth that are laying right in the weeds, I love to go after bass that move onto a weed edge or that come out from the weed bed where I can target them with a crankbait. Those bass aren't interested in feeding on frogs and other things that are along the shore, so I don't have to use slow-moving plastic lures. I can actually use crankbaits because their number one prey is smaller fish. When I'm fishing on these weed lines and around the weeds for these bass that are right on the edge, I like to use a crankbait that I can control the depth and that has a large size body profile. I like that because they can spot it very easily, but also if I want to pause, it's very buoyant so it'll come up. One of my favorite is the Crank and Wrap by Rapala. And what I do is cast it right to the edge of the weeds, make very short casts and crank it out to me. So to do this, I've got to be close to those weeds. So it's important to use an electric trolling motor. And I find that even if you're fishing in nasty weather, those fish will actually come out of the weeds a lot easier. So I'll either use a steady retrieve and fish my crankbait along the edge, but if I get to where there's a clump of weeds, I'll let it rise to the surface and then keep cranking again. I find that when the fish come out, they strike very aggressively because they're fooled that that's actual food. If it's bright out, make sure to fish your crankbait a little bit deeper. And if it's dark out because it's overcast early or late in the day, fish it shallow because those fish will be very close to the surface and just suspended in the water column looking for smaller fish to feed on.